some of these guys that I work with that have been with for 12, 13 years, I mean, we've been through the shits together, with the good times, the bad. And, you know, at the end of the day, these are the guys that keep me moving. These are the guys that rely on me. And I need to do everything that I can to make sure that they're happy and they've got product in their restaurant. The worst is when they get blindsided. And it's hard. Sometimes I get blindsided and then I have to blindside them. Most of the time it's my own fault if that happens. I try not to let that happen, but things do slip through the cracks, but it's what you do to make up for it, and how quickly you make up for it is what counts.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. And that's why these customers rely on me daily, because they know that I'm not going to pussyfoot. I'm going to come back and make it happen, you know?
You try and, you know, it's, for me personally, I've noticed that on one side, just going out and promoting restaurants, and Amano's a great example. They're my favorite restaurant. I don't want to get to know Alex and Lauren and Noah too well, because right now I've got them on this pedestal. They're like the best cook, chefs, creators, and
You get in that friend zone.
yeah. And I don't want to get there
Yep.
because then it's like, oh, you know,
Yep.
it becomes too familiar. It's not the
Sure.
same experience.
Sure.
And I've noticed with like with marketing clients, that's happened.
Where you
And-
feel like they pay a little bit too much attention to you, or they think that you expect more out of them, or
well, like on getting to know, I've done that before, where I've like started to do projects with chefs that I really respect.
Sure.
And then when I get really familiar with them, I'm like, oh, like you're talented,
Yep. But
but maybe it's not as special as I thought it was.
yeah. Like the attitude stinks.
Yeah. Or, oh, wait, I just heard that like that special chicken dish that I had last week that I thought was this gift from God idea that you had to create chicken that way was really just because you had the extra case.
That's how it is most of the time.
And so then that starts to skew how I view their food
Yep.
and their ability.
Yep.
And yeah, so I try to keep some of those people away from me. I'm starting to learn that now I need to maybe not do work with certain people just because I want to keep them on the pedestal.
I always say, you know, I'm not taking application for friends.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I put it. And listen, I know a lot of people in this industry. Being around these places for 20 plus years, and the guys that I know coming up through the business, I mean, it's crazy to see how many have come and gone. The revolving door in these restaurants, you deal with them down here, and then 3 months from now they're down the street, and you know, it's nuts.
Yeah.
And a lot's happened, a lot's changed in this industry over the last, 15, 20 years, to the point where I find myself now, like I'm in that next generation of guys that are coming up. You know, there's a lot of guys in that 30 to 40-year-old range that own restaurants or opening up restaurants, or, maybe they're onto their second restaurant, or they want to do something on their own, and they want to get out of the kitchen. They want to be out from underneath somebody's wing. But then you have those guys that, that you've always looked up to. You know, those guys that have been in the business for 30, 40 plus years, and they're in their 60s now. But when you were younger, coming up through the ranks, you put them on, like you said, a pedestal because you looked up to them.
Yeah.
Those are the guys with all the cool ideas and the cool experiences, and I want to do this and I want to do that. We used to have the Red Cross dinner. I don't even know if they're still doing that or not anymore, but I don't really participate in the ACF, but they, back when I was younger coming up, I mean, that was something that you looked forward to.
Yeah.
You got a spot to do a dish in the ACF dinner or then the Red Cross dinner. I mean, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. And it was just, I don't know, those guys we had always looked up to, but somewhere down the line, there was a divide. And the older guys kept pressing on, doing what they were doing, and the younger guys were like, well, we don't really want to hang out with those older guys, and we kind of want to do our own thing. And a lot of them had left the ACF because of that,
Yeah, the ACF in our area, at least from what I know,
It isn't very strong anymore.
not very strong at all.
No, it used to be.
Yeah.
Now you go out to Rochester, their ACF out there is huge. It's huge.
Wow.
And they've got guys that do competitions, and I mean, it's crazy.
Wow.
I did one competition, but again, I was young. I think I was a line cook at Lafayette Country Club at that point. It's like, I don't know, 18, 19, 20 years old, something like that. But I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Those competitions are hard. You know,
They
Chance had his little impromptu thing that he was doing, and he didn't really. I think he had somebody back out, so he called to ask me to be a judge one night for it.
Oh, boy. You had no idea what you were doing. I judged
No.
one of those.
It was like 4 years ago, too, so I have a little bit more of a knowledge of it today, but not really.
Yeah.
And back then I had nothing.
Yeah.
And it was tough because Chef and the Cook was open at the time. So Jason was, we were talking about him before we started, but Jason was the head guy, and then he brought on Devin to be his,
So,
for that competition. It was going up against, I think, Carl. No, who was the skinny guy? Carl was his Sue. Who was the skinny guy from Alto Cinco? Phil. It was
okay.
Carl and Phil.
Yeah.
And
Carl's great. He's an awesome guy.
actually, I don't like Carl.
Really?
I can't stand him.
Really?
He keeps like he follows us on Eat Local Instagram, and then like every like year or two he'll just go in there and troll on some dumb stupid thing.
And just blow it up.
Like we're doing the Breakfast Club with Bud Laura, so we try to get as many people as we can together once a month for breakfast at a diner.
Yeah.
Everybody brings $100 bill. We all pay our bill.
I saw that.
And then we give the extra to the wait staff.
To the wait staff, yeah.
First thing, we post the first video. There's like 20 comments. This is awesome. I should do it. You know, and then Carl comments, "What about the cooks? You got to give money to the cooks." I'm like, dude,
Is it about that though?
just fucking chill. Like, just you don't have to say anything. So I blocked him. He can't see our shit.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, the wait staff is the final contact you have between that kitchen and those plates on your table.
Yeah,
Wait staff, they put up with a tremendous amount of abuse,
for sure.
night in and night out.
Yeah,
They have good nights. They have great nights.
yeah,
Depending on where you're working, they have amazing nights, amazing weeks. But there's sometimes when you get that demanding customer or somebody who doesn't like something or somebody who's just having a bad day.
right.
I've seen it 100 times over.
Yeah.
I personally am not one of those guys to send something back, especially at a place where I either do business with or I know the folks in there. I would mention it to them after the fact.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. It is what it is. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Oh, it's wonderful. I'm gonna tell them straight up. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of people, like if I go in and eat, they'll ask me.
Yeah.
I just had somebody recently ask me. They said, "Listen, be honest. I value your opinion. Tell me exactly what you think about what we had." And I told them straight up. I said, "Listen, I don't know exactly what your approach to this is, but in my opinion, and this is just constructive criticism, I would do A, B, and C." And he said, he's like, "I thought about that. It was something that was, in the back of my mind, and I'll take that into consideration, but I'm not going to sit there and bash somebody."
Yeah.
It's not worth it. You don't
For
burn bridges.
Sure. Yeah. I won't. I don't send anything back unless it's, I've never sent anything back, but unless it was like raw or just extremely bad, I wouldn't send anything back. And I've only told, and most of the times if I've had a bad experience in terms of, if it's staffing, really I won't say anything. If I've had a bad experience, unless they specifically come to me and
ask
say,
you, Yep.
or if it's really bad and I feel like I know them enough to say something. But there's a lot of people I know that I know how they are, that they'll take it defensively.
Like yeah, exactly. Yep.
So I won't say anything because I know that it's going to be taken a certain. There was.
Sure.
I went to a client's once. The waitress was just really, really bad, and I called the owner afterwards, who I was friends with, and I was like, "Hey, listen, I come in a lot. I've never seen her. I don't know if she's new, but it was really bad. It was like his cousin." And he was like, got pissed off.
Well,
so
there you go.
So I try not to say anything, but and I've always taken the Blues Traveler lyric, whatever the waitress brings, I'll drink it and always be happy or whatever.
There you go. Keep a smile on.
Yeah, so that's what I try to go for.
I guess for me, if I'm ordering a steak, that's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
If I've got a steak in front of me and I ordered that medium rare or even rare, and you send it out medium well or well done, Yeah.
That's a big deal.
I mean, I'm paying for that steak,
Yeah.
you know, and I want to know that it's cooked properly. The other thing is that, you know, I was talking to a kid the other night that I had just met for the first time. He's from out of town, but he's doing some work up here in Syracuse for a while. And he said, I was standing there with the owner, and he said to him, he goes, yeah, most of the time when I order a steak at a restaurant, I'll order it like a degree less than what I'm really wanting. So if I'm want a medium rare, I'll order it rare. If it comes out rare, great, I'll eat it because I like it.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I'm expecting them to over. Now, this is a Joe Schmo off the street, not a kitchen guy.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great,
Yeah.
knowing that. So he knows, you know. And then the owner turned around and said, well, you don't have to worry about that here. Order your medium rare. He ordered a steak. It came out. It was gorgeous.
Huh.
It was beautiful, medium rare, cooked right.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, having the right person on that station to do it.
Yeah.
You know, night in and night out, you got to have the same people on there doing the same. Because you could have an experience where, you know, your meal was awesome, and you come in, like, you talk about it, rave it up. 3 weeks later, you come in, and you have the complete opposite.
Yeah.
You know?
It's too hit or miss.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
That's one of my biggest complaints with going out to eat around here is there's some restaurants where I go in and it's like, it's the best meal, recommend it to anybody and everybody. You know, you can't go wrong. You go back a few weeks later and it's just completely different. It's not good.
It's not the same person that was either on that station.
Yeah.
Or, you know, maybe that main guy's out, or maybe he's gone, period, you know?
Yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes it's the same person.
Yeah, it happens. It's a
And it's
revolving
just-
door.
Yeah. It's a bad night.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, we were talking about Jason, and, you know, I was judging the thing, and I remember, I think they had Baby Shark,
Oh, nice.
I think.
Like the song Baby Shark?
No, like the
I know, Baby
yeah,
Shark,
right,
yeah.
and but they had some root vegetable thing, not a root vegetable. I forget. It was bitter root or something.
Okay.
I forget what it was.
Yeah.
But I remember Chance said when he was listing off the ingredients, and I think they did 3 courses. But he said you'll know. He said there's only one way to prepare this. Prepare this ingredient where it is edible and where it doesn't taste really, really bitter.
Yeah, sure.
And you'll know if they did it well or not because it'll taste really, really bitter.
It's bitter, yep.
And Jason had missed on the first 2, had lost out to the judges, to everybody's opinion on flavor. But that last dish that had this bitter root, whatever it was, his wasn't bitter, the other guy's was. So
His technique, it was perfect then.
in my head, it's like he won. Like that one thing, that's the one distinguishing. If it's bitter, you know, if it's not bitter, you did it right.
Yep.
You know, it's like he won. And the other 2 judges said he lost. They voted against him. So, and I was kind of, I wasn't like doing their marketing or anything like that, but they were on the card and yada, yada, yada. Anyways, they got pissed. They didn't say anything to me, but you could just tell.
Think about it, though. You even said it. You're not, you know, you didn't know anything.
Right.
You know, you're coming in fresh meat.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know what this is all about. You're not a culinary guy, really, when it comes to this stuff. And you judged it. But you, as a normal person, you focused on what you saw was going to be the most challenging part of that mystery basket.
Yeah.
And you pointed that out.
Yeah.
So if Jason cooked that properly, I mean, I don't know what else was done. I can't say because I wasn't there, but that to me would have swayed
For
my
sure.
decision.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, Chance is legendary for doing those tough baskets. I mean,
Yeah.
he would really, really look for something to throw a curveball at you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it made no freaking sense, you know, but he would do it.
I loved that restaurant. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a lot of fun out there too.
That was a cool spot for
Yeah.
sure. Really challenging to get to.
Oh yeah.
But once you were there, it was gorgeous inside.
It was like a bungalow
Yes.
almost.
There was nothing like that in Syracuse.
No, not at all. But again, it was a challenge to get out there.
Yeah.
I had only been out there a handful of times, but it was always in the winter.
Right.
I'd never seen it in the warmer months.
Same here.
And we were selling him at the time, and the sales rep that I was with, you know, he was new on the street, just trying to get his feet wet. But when he told me that he was working with Chance, I said, man, this is great. And Chance and I go way back. I've known him for years. he when I first met Chance, I don't think he really cared for me too much. I was doing an internship at the Cavalry Club, and I couldn't even tell you what year this was, but it's ways back, 20 plus years, 25 years ago. And I think he just thought I was the goofiest person. And he's like, there's no way that this guy is ever going to get anywhere in this business. But I live to tell the stories.
Yeah.
I'm here now.
It's definitely amazing. It's a wonder how much has changed in the last 6 years. You know, I started in doing Eat Local 6 years ago, and it's amazing how much has changed in that time in this industry, and not for the better. In my opinion.
Not at all. I think where the industry's headed right now, and where it was, I mean, it's like a polar opposite. You know, just talking with owners and other chefs and stuff, you know, people are worried. People have been worried for the last 2 years. You know, and I don't think we've seen the peak of the bad times yet. You know, I think this is going to be a long, drawn out winter. You know, even though we're already at the end of January, it's been okay. Not great, but it's been okay for some people.
Yeah.
For the majority, though, they've struggled. You know, the money's run out.
Right.
Anybody that still has money left over, you know, is holding on to it for dear life just in case.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, what do we have to look forward to? I mean, what's ahead for us? You know, I think there's some darker days. I mean, I heard the other morning on the news that you know, we're looking at like another 30% hike in goods and services pricing in the next couple of months. You know, it's nuts. It's nuts when you think about it. Go to the stores. I was in Wegmans. The shelves are empty.
Really?
They're empty. I can't even get a bag of chips because it's empty. Even Wegmans brand empty. A lot of your canned goods and stuff. I mean, you're having trouble with Campbell's. Like they can't get the cans to fill those larger V8. Where's the V8?
I
Who's got
wish.
V8?
You know, I hate to say this is like the most male-dominated thing that I probably haven't going on in my life, but my wife does all the grocery shopping.
Does she really?
And yeah, my wife is a saint. She does most of the 95% of the grocery shopping and probably 90% of the cooking.
Well, you're lucky.
I know, very lucky.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I've got a great wife, but so I haven't seen that as much. But I wish that I know that it's really bad in restaurants because I'm talking to a lot of them that are on the verge of either jumping off the cliff or burning their place down. I know a few that are doing well, better than most. They're not doing exceptional, but they're doing better than a lot of the others. And you know, for a couple of them, there's really there's no rhyme or reason to it. They're not doing anything special.
Yeah.
For another restaurant that I've got that's doing like the Brasserie, they're doing okay right now, but they're doing something unique. They're coming up with new things, items to bring people in that are truly unique. So that's helping them out. But yeah, it is awful out there now. Absolutely awful.
I mean, you do have to think outside the box when it comes to this.
Yeah.
Especially where we are right now. Think about it. We've had the foam takeout containers are gone. There's no more foam. Pretty soon the plastic straws are going to be gone too.
Yeah.
But you know, with that switch over, I can't tell you how many people waited to the bitter end to either make their decisions on what they were going to do, or some guys just plain were like, "Oh, really? Yeah." You know, and we as a company, I mean, we had.
Do you all sell that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. We do a lot of takeout stuff. I mean, paper's a huge part of our business, you know. And you know, I guess the biggest thing for people was how much does it cost? They were so used to having foam so inexpensive that it was a no-brainer. They didn't have to do anything about it. You know, it was no-brainer, just roll it right in. But now you're looking at triple, quadruple the price for a takeout container. Yeah. You know, it's not 8 cents anymore. Now it's 48 cents.
Right.
So how do we do that? We got to factor that in somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So I have a lot of customers, and I know a lot of restaurants out there that are doing small increments in price raising, but they have to.
Right.
Look at what you're paying at the pump.
Yeah.
Look at the price of diesel.
Right.
Everything. So the packaging, you know, that's just one more
Yeah.
kink in the chain that's got these guys down and
For sure.
having to worry about it. You know?
I've got a client who they haven't raised their prices in probably 4 years, and so
Oh,
they
boy.
just did it.
Oh man, must have been a shock to their customers.
It wasn't too bad. I mean, he did go up 15%, but that's still small. They're a small. They're a
It's unnoticeable.
yeah. I do have another client who just raised their prices again. I've told this story a few times, but when I first started working with them and they were saying how much they were struggling, I looked at their menu. I was like, it's like you need to charge more. You're not charging enough.
Sure.
And a couple weeks later, my wife and I went there for dinner, and we sat down and we looked at the menu. And right as we're looking at the menu, they came out. They were like, "Hey, we took your advice. We raised the prices. It's been going great. Thank you so much." It was like, "Yeah." And I looked. It was like, "Holy shit, that's expensive."
Yeah,
It's getting insane.
it is.
To eat out. So he just raised his prices by 15%, and I was on the phone like maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago. I was just on the phone with him today, and he was saying, "I'm probably going to do it again because we're still way under what we were." But now they went from styrofoam to compostable.
Yep.
And they're doing meatloaf and the takeout containers and compostable, which doesn't work. And now they have to add foil or wax paper, which is another expense.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's crazy.
We have a product out there. It's a mineral fill, and this is like cutting edge, beautiful stuff. It's got the raised bottom on it. It's either got like waves on it, bumps or whatever, so it keeps your French fries not soggy, like they still stay crispy. The bun with your burger, it's not going to be like nasty when you get home.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, and a lot of these are vented, so you're not going to have sweaty fries or you know, like a film over there if you got to travel 20 minutes to get home, or even if it's coming to you from a service. And that's the other thing. I mean, think about DoorDash and Grubhub and all that. I mean, it is ridiculous the amount of money that people spend on that.
Yeah.
And these folks are making money hand over fist with the delivery charges and stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy.
My brother and his family live down in like New City, New York. So
Okay.
Congers, which is just 30 minutes outside of New York City.
All right.
And so I was just down there because for the Vegas trip we flew in and out of JFK. And his wife had ordered. Actually, it was my mother, but who was babysitting had ordered Wendy's from DoorDash down there
Oh my gosh.
for 4 kids, and I think it was like $65 for
boy.
the 4 or 5 of them, let's say. And but when they delivered her food, they left the receipt of what Wendy's actually charges, and it was only like
Oh,
32
boy.
bucks.
Oh my gosh.
So it was twice as much because they had hiked up the
Yeah.
menu prices
Yep.
and then the delivery fee and all that stuff.
It's funny you say that, because in the beginning we had toyed with order. We had never done it before, but this is when it started to get pretty popular and stuff at the beginning of COVID there. And we're like, all right, yeah, let's order something. And I actually went online to look at the menu of the place, and then I went over to the order online thing, and I'm like, whoa, hold on
Yeah.
a second. You know, back then it was like $1 or $2 more,
Right.
which wasn't terrible, but it was enough. But then they hit you with the $5 delivery fee, and then you got to tip the guy, and this.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you got $15 added onto your bill.
Yeah.
On top of already paying more. But it's a service.
For sure.
You got to pay for a service.
My wife, who doesn't like to, if she'll text me, "Hey, let's order tonight." We do that maybe once, sometimes twice a week. She's an app person. She doesn't want to. We get pizza from Pies Guys.
Sure.
They're on Grubhub.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't want to call them because then she has to read off the card number. She has to talk to somebody. Maybe she gets put on hold.
Yeah.
With the app, everything's just there.
It's right in there.
So, except last week or 2 weeks ago, she was like, "All right, I'm going to order pizza," and she texted me. She's like, "I'm going to call them. It's like $15 more tonight through the app for some reason." So, I mean, those fees must have,
Oh
been
yeah,
raised.
they've certainly gone up.
Yeah.
Speaking of app and stuff like that, and Pies Guys, you said, have you ever had anything called a hot knot? Have you ever heard of these hot knots?
That sounds familiar, but
So these hot knots, I ordered from a pizza shop. Boy, when was it? It was before.
I want to say Sal's is doing something like that. No?
No, it was between Christmas and New Year. And my kids are like, I want pizza. And I didn't want to order from Pies Guys. I wanted to try something new,
Yeah.
right? And I live over on the west end of Syracuse.
Okay.
So I had remembered the Frogger's place that was up near OCC, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's a new outfit in there. It's called Gemelli's.
Okay.
And I'd never had their food before. I have no idea what's going on in there. I don't know if they're busy. I don't know if they're slow, whatever. So I called up, and I think I got the owner on the phone. And I was looking at the menu and talking to him at the same time. And I said to the guy, I go, dude, what are these hot knots that I'm seeing? What is this? And he goes, oh, it's becoming like the number one seller. And OCC's right there. I mean, they probably deliver 100 times a night over there, right?
Yeah.
Every night. So I said, okay, and I asked him, I told him where I lived, and I said, well, you guys deliver over here. Yeah, no problem at all. I mean, they were, it's still probably a good 10, 12-minute ride for them, So we ordered the hot knots and whatever else we got, but these hot knots came, and it was literally a dozen garlic knots that were, overproofed, beautiful, nice, airy, fluffy, and, it had the typical garlic, Parmesan, seasoning, butter, whatever on top. But then he drizzled wing sauce and ranch dressing on the top of it.
Wow.
I was in love. Let me tell you something. There was a dozen in there. I think each of my children had one.
Yeah.
My wife had one, so that's only 4. I ate the rest. Of course, it took me a while to do it, but, man, they were so good.
Yeah.
So then we had them again just the other night. We haven't ordered from the place in quite some time. I said, boys, let's do some hot knots. They were all about it.
I was going to say, Sal's is doing Nutella Knots.
Yep, they are.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, those look pretty good.
Nikki just asked me the other day if I had Nutella in the big, tub because they go through so much of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's awesome. They did literally. Oh, no, it wasn't the tub. I'm sorry. It was a piping bag. Sorry, Nick. Yeah, it was a piping bag.
Yeah.
And we don't stock the piping bag.
Yeah.
But he asked if we could get it. But, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
These are so good.
Coming back from when I went down to Vegas, I drove down Tuesday. I stopped in Beacon because we've got a restaurant that's on the card in Beacon.
Oh, nice.
Beacon Bread Company. Actually, the podcast I did with the owners came out today.
Oh, nice.
And so for restaurants who are on the card, we've got 160 some odd restaurants that we work with on the card.
Wow.
And so they get free photo shoots whenever they want.
Great.
And then free promotional videos. We'll give them free marketing advice. So anyway, we went down.
Do you do family photos? Can you come to my house and do like a...
Yeah, I don't know how good I am. Yeah. Maybe you dress up like a hamburger.
It's worth a shot. Worth a shot. I'd do that. I like hamburgers.
So I drove down there, did the photo shoot, and it's in Beacon. It's this gorgeous little, they've got, it's a bakery. They're doing their own baked goods. Espresso, local company. On one side, it looks like kind of a larger, old school kind of New York City style,
Yep.
And then on the other side, you kind of go, Oh My Darling, how it's like 2 buildings.
Yep.
So it's kind of that. You walk through a little archway, and you're
Totally different atmosphere.
Yeah, completely different.
I mean, that. That's
gorgeous, antique-y sort of vibe, but still just gorgeous restaurant and bar. Small still, probably seats, maybe 50 if you're crammed in there. But you can get a pastry and go over there and sit down. You can order off a menu.
Yeah.
But, they're doing chicken and waffles, and, I'm going to show it to you.
Pull it up.
You've been to a Waffle House before?
Oh, absolutely.
A Waffle House does like those thin waffles.
They're not even waffles.
They're not even waffles.
They're not even Eggo.
But usually chicken and waffles, it's like this massive Belgian
Yeah,
waffle.
you want to see
Right.
some height on it.
That's their chicken and waffles.
Oh, boy, that's a big one.
Right?
But it's wide.
It's like...
That's a whole...
It's like a thin waffle.
But it's on like a massive maker.
Right. Country-style gravy that they make in-house, poached egg on top, microgreens.
I love it. That looks like a cornmeal fried chicken too. That's great. What is that a breast and a leg in there that I'm seeing, or what is? Do you know what that is?
It kind of, because it's long, right?
It is long, yeah.
No, I think it's just a breast. I don't know how.
So you know what that is? Did it have the bone in it too?
I didn't cut into it, so I don't know.
Okay, so that actually looks like a split chicken breast.
Oh yeah.
And they're massive.
Yeah.
Especially you have that cage on there,
Right. You know, they're Philly. You know, I don't know.
Oh, good
But,
Lord.
you know, it's not obviously a real Philly.
It's stepped up, though.
You know,
It looks nice. Ooh, look at that.
espresso martini with real espresso, which I've never seen around
Yeah,
here.
that's awesome.
So those are all my pictures, by the way. But so going there Tuesday and then going to Vegas, we went to Best Friend Roy Choi's place,
Yep.
which was unreal. Where else? We went to this taco place. I had that owner on the podcast while I was out there, Raging Tacos. It's just a truck over at like the Fremont Experience area, and
That's way down. That's old, isn't it? Isn't that
that's
old school?
I think that's old Vegas.
Yeah, it
I'm
is old
assuming.
Vegas. I did when I was out there about 5 years ago. I did both
Okay.
ends. Yeah, we stayed at. It was actually right. It was the week of the shooting. It was like that
Oh, really?
day after, right there. I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
it was couldn't get a rental car for like half the time that we were there.
Jeez.
It's a mass exodus. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, we didn't spend, besides going there for lunch, we didn't really spend any time at Fremont. We went to the Hoover Dam.
Nice.
We stayed on the Strip for the most part. Like I
Yep.
said, spent probably too much time in casinos.
Sure.
Didn't see any shows.
Okay.
You know, it was just kind of, I don't know. Most people have told me you don't want to spend more than a few days there.
Yeah.
But having been there now once, I'm like, okay, I think if I go back, I would know what to do.
What to do, what not to do. Same here.
Yeah.
I was with a fella who had been out there many times. He was out there for poker, actually, and he had played in some satellite tournaments. He went to the World Series of Poker out there. He's
Oh, wow.
done some main event stuff. But yeah, that was my first adventure out there, and I got to tell you, it was interesting.
Yeah.
We did Momofuku.
Oh, nice.
We did the Egg Slut.
Yeah.
We did Mortaramas. Yeah, it's the Yo Meatball it's Yo Meatball. Dude, this thing was massive.
Huh.
It's like it looked like the size of a softball.
We went to the Hex for breakfast, which is, I think it's inside the, it's like on the, it's inside the Paris, but it's like,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah, that's where Mortaramas is.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So we went there for breakfast. It was you could tell it was like a chain vibe to it. It wasn't bad. I got the chicken and waffles there, bourbon maple syrup that's like heavy on the bourbon,
Sure.
and then pickle slices on top, which is kind of interesting.
Were they spicy pickles?
No, it was just like bread and butter, canned, jarred pickles. So
That's cutting a corner right there.
yeah, they didn't really do anything crazy at that place, but I didn't expect much. But yeah, like I said, having been there, I'm like, okay, if I go back, I had a friend who said he could get me into the Palm because his brother-in-law's the restaurant manager.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I brought jeans and flannels. I'm not going to the Palm.
It ain't
you know?
happening. Yeah.
So like I said, going back, I'd like to go again and hit the restaurants up, go see a couple shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
But being in Beacon and being in Vegas and now coming back, I'm desperate for someone in our immediate area to do something unique with food.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't exist.
It's just it's stale.
Yeah.
I think we've gotten stale, and I think the mandates that have been put on us over the last couple of years have really gotten people depressed.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the weather outside right now.
Right.
Who the hell wants to go out in this?
Yeah.
People are staying home.
Yeah.
They're scared. It's not even that they're scared. They just don't want to spend the money and not be able to enjoy themselves.
Right.
Where normal circumstances, they'd be having a blast.
Yeah.
They'd be having a blast. It's hard for people to get happy about something that they know isn't going to be that great. They know what they're walking into, so to speak. You know, there's very few places here in Syracuse that you can actually go and have a good time and without all the hubbub that's happening out in the regular world. You know,
one thing, I don't know why this just dawned on me for some reason, but one thing that I've noticed,
I saw the light bulb. It was right there. Yeah.
Yeah. You get bad service. You can get bad service anywhere.
Yep.
But in tourist towns, the staff, especially the wait staff, usually have this understanding that their attitude towards you
Matters
directly to their income.
Sure it does.
And I don't know of many, there's some, but I don't know of many restaurants in Syracuse where the wait staff understands that.
Yeah.
It's just like going through the motions.
Again, it's a revolving door.
Yeah.
You know, some of the higher end places that that I do business with, you know, there's been some folks there that have waited tables as long as I've been the sales rep.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen a lot of chefs come and go, but
Right.
there's some very loyal wait staff out there.
For sure.
But again, there's a lot of revolving door. I walked into a place a couple of weeks ago and I looked around, I'm like, Jesus, I know nobody in here. What the hell's going on? They were all fresh faces.
Wow.
You know, and I think partly because we've lost a huge portion of our industry here locally and overall.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we lost about a third of the workers that we had before this all happened. They went out on the unemployment. They got the extra money.
Yeah.
Sitting on Easy Street. And then when it was time to come back, screw that, I'm still collecting.
Right.
So they stayed out.
Yeah.
And now, you know, there weren't a lot of people. Obviously, people weren't hiring at the time when we were shut down. And that was right this time last year, right? We weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
Right? So
2 years ago.
yeah. So there was a handful of places that weren't even open.
Yeah.
And then the ones that were, it was all like takeout or whatever, you know? So there wasn't a lot of action out there. A lot of people left. A lot of people haven't come back. They've found other jobs. I know a handful of wait staff and cooks that aren't even in the industry anymore. They're doing something else. I got one guy who's a truck driver. He drives trucks now. He went out and got his CDL because they were missing so much of the driver end of things because a lot of people were just out of work. They got laid off or whatever. So coming back, these companies are hiring. They're giving money right on the spot for you. They're paying for your CDL training. Why not?
Yeah.
It's a nice little income right there.
Yeah.
You know?
It's wild.
It is wild.
Yeah. I don't know what, I don't know. You know, going to I used to live in Central Texas, like just outside of Austin.
Yeah.
And I hated it. I love the food of Austin. I couldn't imagine being there now with the surge that they're having because I feel, you know, especially from what I am hearing, the restaurants have gotten so much better out there.
Yeah.
Because they've had such a
Influx of people. Yeah.
I hated it because I couldn't, like, the heat wasn't that big of a deal, but I hated the wildlife. I hated the fact that you could get lizards in your house,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
little geckos or
Yeah.
scorpions, rattlesnakes in your yard.
I have 3 lizards in my house right now.
Really?
They're 13, 11, and 7 years old. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I can't stand them. I
They're
can't
fun.
stand.
Yeah, really? The
stuff.
wildlife? Yeah.
Hate it.
We had chipmunks in our house once. I think that's about it though. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Texas wasn't fun for that. But being in Vegas, now granted it was gorgeous. It was like 60 degrees.
Sure.
You know, because it's winter and
Yep. A balmy 60.
right. But I was texting Kyle and I was like, dude, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of Syracuse. Like it's awful. I haven't felt that way in like 5 years.
Yeah.
I've loved it up here.
Now, is it you want to break or do you want to get out?
I don't know. I might want to get out.
So I've lived here all my life.
Yeah.
I've been here since 1979. And, you know, I have a lot of fond memories of when I was a little kid in the places that we used to go to. And, you know, they're all gone. There isn't anything left from that, you know? And it saddens me because this city has changed so much and, you know, some positive, but there's been a lot of downfall too with the major companies moving out of here, the people moving out. I mean, I'll be honest with you, my friends that I grew up with and went to high school with in a couple of different districts, there's a lot of them that never came back.
Yeah.
They live in Boston or New York or wherever. They're not here though.
Right.
I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
I've done more visiting, you know, in the 10 years after college with people that still aren't here. I
Right.
mean, they're gone.
Yeah.
They're gone. I left for a while.
Did you?
I left for a while. Yeah, I went to culinary school down in Connecticut. I was right in the Suffield area, right next to Six Flags. And I went down there with another fella from Syracuse. He's up at, what is it, the lodge up there in Pulaski there, Tailwater.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's up there. He's doing great.
I'm going to be there this weekend.
Nice.
For a
It's a
wedding.
beautiful place.
Yeah.
Gorgeous place. But he's, you know, we went to culinary school together down there, and we always dreamed of, you know, going to New York or going to Boston. That's where we're going to work. We're going to have a huge high end. We all ended up back in Syracuse,
Yeah.
you know?
I-
Family,
yeah.
you know?
I came back.
Yeah, but that's just it. I mean, I've been here for so long, and I've tried to leave,
Right.
but I've always come back. I mean, partly because of my girlfriend at the time, who's my wife now, and I don't know how the hell she puts up with me, but that was what drew me back here.
Yeah.
And I knew that I wanted to settle down and start a family. But if I had the opportunity and I didn't have her, I'm sure I would have spread my wings somewhere else and probably stayed there.
I just had friends. They went down to, they're 50, so they're a bit older, but they just went to Myrtle Beach last, I think, early summer for a vacation. Fell in love with it immediately. Somehow found, either looking for it or just heard about it, a new development addition in like some suburb on like a mini lake pond. All houses being built brand new, and it's like they got a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2,500 square foot home for like $250,000.
Jesus.
Brand new construction.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And
you can get that here, but it's 60 years old and it needs like another 20 grand into it.
So they bought the fucking house while they were down there.
Jesus.
Went and got the mortgage and bought it. Did it right there on the spot. Came back a couple days later, like, we're moving to Myrtle Beach.
Out of here.
So they live like 30 minutes from the beach, 20
That's
minutes from
awesome.
the beach, and they love it.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would ever go there because I'm not going to go deal with alligators and all that shit. But
you don't like wildlife.
I
starting
fucking
to get that.
hate it. That's one thing I love about Syracuse is we really don't have to deal with it.
No.
But this weather sucks.
It does.
And
it hurts.
I don't know. There's just something about being near a big city and, just, I don't know. Maybe I need to go travel to a city that has really shitty food.
Do you like, are you like a nightlife guy? Do you like to
No.
be
I like being busy
Yeah.
all the time.
But you want to come home.
Yeah. And I like being busy all the time, but I like going to concerts and that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go to like a club or any of that kind of, like Friday night we left. So we flew out of Vegas Saturday morning. Friday night, I went back out at like from 11 to 1 in the morning to go gamble. And I went to the Planet Hollywood casino and it was packed. Vegas on a Wednesday night versus a Friday night, completely different. They've got like girls dancing in their underwear, behind, in the pit, right behind the blackjack table. And I mean, it was a fucking party. I couldn't take that.
That's the hotel that's above the mile there, the big mall, right? Isn't it the mall?
Yes.
That's where I stayed. Because Paris is like right next door to that. Yeah, that's where I stayed. Aria's across the street. Yeah, that's where I stayed.
Yeah, that I couldn't take.
J-Lo and Britney Spears were there.
Really?
Well, they weren't there that week because they left because of what had happened down there. Yeah, they took off.
Yeah.
No shows.
Right. Yeah, it was... so, no, I'm not really a big nightlife person, but I don't know. There's just something my wife and I, like, we were in Boston last spring. We've done a little bit of traveling over the past year or two, and I've traveled a lot. I went to Chicago with Tim from Buried Acorn for the day. There's just something about going to a touristy place that I don't know. I feel like it's better.
Get you
experience.
going.
Yeah.
No, it is. It is. I've been fortunate enough to see a lot of cities. I have a group of friends that we're pretty tight knit. I mean, we talk to each other on a daily basis and we hang out as much as we possibly can with our families and stuff. But we're big Fish people. Like, we love the band Fish.
Yeah.
And we've been experiencing them for 2 decades or more. And, it's been a roller coaster because we've been to some cool ass places. We've been to some pretty shitty places, but it's, that in itself, getting to experience, we've always done like the New Year's run down in Madison Square Garden and, staying there for a few nights. But, when the Wolves come out after midnight and the show's over with, I mean, there's no better place than being in New York City because it's a lot of fun. Yeah. I've walked those streets at 3-4 o'clock in the morning and let me tell you something, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's a different world.
Oh man, it's a whole, and it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't stop. You could walk right through the night, and next day it's everybody back to business.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, Vegas was like that. We were
Sure it is.
We were out at, I think we got back at like 2 a.m. on Saturday morning, Friday night, and woke up at 7 a.m. So we went to bed. There was a group of people in the bar drinking, and when we left the next morning, we had to leave at like 6 a.m. to get to the airport.
They were still there?
They were still there.
Attaboy.
You know, I mean, men and women,
Yeah.
Younger people, it wasn't, it was, I was like, holy hell, these people didn't go to bed.
That's what it is. A city
Vegas.
that never sleeps,
Yeah.
What happens there stays there.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember going to New York for my bachelor party. We're not going to get too deep in it, but we were out at a couple of places, a couple of clubs. We had gone to dinner, and a buddy of mine was down there at the time. He was doing some promoting and stuff, so we had the inn at some pretty high end places. So we went to a place called Stereo, and it's, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was the guys from Fountain Blue. They had something to do with that, and it was just party central down there.
Yeah.
But those places don't close till 4:00 in the morning.
Right.
So it's 4 a.m. and we finally get out of there and we go back to my buddy's apartment, and we were going to the Mets game the next day. I think the Mets game started at 1:00, or maybe it was sooner than that. But we just kept it going. Watched the sun come up. It was beautiful. Beautiful. The train ride down to the stadium wasn't beautiful. But
Yeah. We were fortunate that we flew first class direct flight from JFK to Las Vegas.
Did you upgrade, or was it something you had planned on?
Something I planned on.
Yeah.
This sounds really douchey of me, but
Pretentious.
I can't. I only fly first class. It costs me a lot.
Well, excuse me.
Yeah.
I would do, if I could, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't know how.
I made the mistake of 7 years ago. I graduated college, and I was finishing up because I moved here the start of the senior year, and I went to school for theology of all things, and so I finished my year here, but I flew back for the graduation.
Sure.
And it was like, you know what? It's I'm graduating. I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna treat myself and fly
Absolutely.
first class, and
Change your life forever.
yeah, exactly. And so ever since then, I haven't been able to do it's awful. I get made fun of quite a bit for it, but we had a pod, a direct that long.
Yeah.
You have your own pod.
Yeah.
It's that type of a first class.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Seat turns into a bed.
Oh,
and,
wow.
So the flight home wasn't as bad, as it could have been.
Well, I've only flown a handful of times. I mean, going out to Vegas and then, flying to Dallas, Fort Worth, and taking that to Mexico for the honeymoon, which was an absolute disaster, that plane ride. I'll never forget it. But going to New York, I've taken a puddle jumper from Hancock down there.
Yeah.
45-minute flight,
Yeah, that's
JetBlue, piece of cake.
Yeah.
Those
are great.
But that's it. I've taken the train a couple of times across country. Now that's fun.
Are those fun?
Those are fun because you go through some weird areas.
Yeah.
Very weird areas of the country. Train tracks don't go through nice.
Right.
Yeah, they're on the
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about, because I need to start getting more into Buffalo and Rochester
Yeah.
for this and get to restaurants
Sure.
out there. And we have been a little bit, but especially into Buffalo.
Yeah.
So I was looking at, it's all right, it's 2 hours out there, 2.5 hours out there.
Take the train.
I was looking at that. The train schedule sucks.
Yeah, it does.
It leaves at 1.
In the morning?
No, in the
Oh,
afternoon.
in the afternoon. Okay.
And then the last train, it leaves at 1, gets in at 3:30, but then the last train leaves at 6:30. So
Not a very big window.
no. So you're gonna run and get dinner maybe, and then get back.
Yeah,
So-
that's not cool. You're going to be forced to spend the
Right.
night at that point. Whenever I would go out west, I think the train left, because you had to go to Chicago. It was an overnight to Chicago. I think we'd leave Syracuse at 11 or 12, and then we'd roll into Chicago at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning.
That's not bad.
No, I slept most of the way, but then, it takes 2 days to get out west,
Oh yeah.
That was the fun part, though.
Amtrak had this promotion maybe 10 years ago. If you had an audience, I don't know how big the audience had to be, but if you had a blog and you had any sort of you were a blogger, personal or business or whatever, They were going to give you a free ticket anywhere in the country. You go cross country, regionally, whatever.
Really?
As long as you documented it, like as
Oh,
long
that's
as you
cool.
wrote about it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You had to mention them, obviously, and
Yeah.
what you're doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I'll tell you, Rochester, I know you said Buffalo, but Rochester, that restaurant scene out there is hot and heavy. There's some really nice places. And if you didn't know, my company, JFS Curtze, we are out of Rochester. That's where my hub is. That's where my office is. Yep. So we've got a pretty strong presence out there. We have for years, and you know, they do a great job out there, and they have some of the top restaurants in that area, in country clubs as well. But we're out in Buffalo.
Yeah.
The mothership is out in Erie, PA.
Okay.
And we also have another hub out in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, I didn't know it was that big.
Yep.
Okay.
We're pretty large. We service, I think, like 9 states, something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's been your biggest challenge over the past 2 years? I'm sure there's a lot of them.
Keeping people happy. You know, that's absolutely 100% has been the biggest challenge. And, you know, the last thing you want to do is lose an account, especially on my end. You know, you just don't want to see somebody close up their doors because, you know, they either owe money to you or, you know, you're losing somebody good, a relationship that you had, you know. Most of the time the chef will end up somewhere else and you'll follow him, but, you know, the ownership's left there, you know, holding the bag. So, you know, it's difficult, you know, accepting the fact that these guys aren't going to be around anymore. And, you know, whether it was, you know, a bittersweet ending or you guys, you know, you ended up, you know, in fisticuffs, you know, whatever the case may be, it's, you know, you got to figure it out and you got to have an amicable close, you know? Yeah. So it's been very difficult in keeping customers happy, making sure they have all their products in-house that they need. I mean, with the supply chain issues, there's a lot of customers out there that even now just don't want to hear it. Yeah. They don't understand, you know. It's sometimes it's a struggle to get things in, you know, and, you know, another vendor may have it, but we don't. It's because they're buying from another supplier that we don't buy from, or, you know, vice versa. So, you know, there's a lot of things that, you know, have transpired over the last 2-3 years that, you know, people were not willing to accept, you know. I mean, there's weeks that go by where you can't get one specific item, but that's a very meaningful specific item for a certain customer. Yeah. And if they don't have it and you can't get it and they get it from you, you're the asshole. Right. You know? Well, it's got nothing to do with me. Yeah. It's got something to do with manufacturing, you know, or getting the product there. I mean, you know, we had touched on it earlier about the increase in pricing and stuff. I mean, look at fuel. Fuel is going to continue to rise. I mean, we may not be seeing it here detrimental, but out west, I mean, these truck drivers can't get things. So we've actually come up with some different ideas to get product in because it's taking so long to get it here or to cut costs on getting the delivery here. The biggest one is picking it up ourselves. Why not? We've got all these big trucks. We've got guys that are CDL drivers. Why can't we send them out to the Midwest to pick up, you know, whatever it is, you know, and, you know, especially on the meat end, on the protein end, beef it's a scary place right now because we don't know what's going to happen. Yes, beef prices have relaxed a little bit, but I noticed today that they've already turned around and started to move again. You know, everybody got excited when things came down $1 in the last couple of months, but now they're headed right back up. And, you know, what chicken wings? I mean, that's like the number one thing that people bitch about in our industry is chicken wings. Who the hell wants to pay $140 or $130 for a case of chicken wings?
Because how much were they 3 years ago?
Oh, geez. Well, you know what? I'll be honest with you. Around Super Bowl time, 5 years ago at Super Bowl time, we were paying $115 for them. Yeah. But it came right back down. Yeah. I remember at one time, chicken wings were less expensive than a case of random chicken breasts. Like $40, maybe a little bit less. Random chicken's even gone up. Huh. It's just it's hard. Again, the delivery method of getting the product here, the demand is so high and still there that the manufacturing, they're not at full production. Some of these guys are maybe half, 70%, somewhere around there. They can't produce the product fast enough to get it into our warehouse and get it out to the customer. So the like chicken as a whole are smaller. It's very hard to get big chickens because they have to slaughter them earlier. And it's in the, like I said, the fuel price of getting it there and having somebody drive it. I mean, it all adds up, and that puts pressure on the manufacturing end, but it even puts pressure on our end. And it's a tough pill to swallow. Again, there's a lot of people that don't understand it still, but most of them get it. They get it. They're accepting of it because, you know what? If I can't get it from you, maybe I can try from this guy. Or again, I do whatever I can to find it for them. I had a customer call me the other day and said, "Where's the V8? V8, where is it?" Even the stores, they're low on it. They don't have it. It's nuts. I've never seen more things in my book that are temped out. And it's not, some of it's popular, but it's a lot of things that may be on the secondary market, and it's specialty items more so, but it's tough.
Yeah.
It really is tough.
So how does it work? So are you all purchasing directly from the
manufacturers themselves?
Yeah.
Sometimes we go direct through them. We as a company, the mothership down in Erie, they're the ones who are, they hold the sticks, right? We are a subsidiary of them. We're like a little brother, even though we're under one umbrella. So sometimes we pull from that warehouse because they, as a group down there, they have more power to pull from somebody direct. Maybe, we're only going to stock 10 cases of it. Well, the Erie shop, the Curtze, they're buying 150. So we'll pull from them. There's some things that we buy on our own, like chicken and stuff like that. We buy that on our own.
From Tyson?
No, not necessarily. It's from whoever. We do business. We have our NSDO line of chicken, whole chickens, drumsticks, thighs, breasts, whatever. And those actually come from an Amish farm that's in downstate New York and over the Pennsylvania border. There's a couple of them. And they do a wonderful job. And we're pretty exclusive with them. They take care of us.
So they're the grower and the processor and the seller.
And then it comes to us.
Gotcha.
But on the other hand, we would go to Tyson for like a frozen IQF product or, something a little bit further processed, more for institutional use. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's been shortages on that end too.
Oh, I'm sure.
A lot of people don't know, but the pork market actually hit a wall here recently in California, especially. I guess they grow a lot of hogs out there. They have a new law where a mother hog, she's got to have I think before it was like 6 square feet that they were confined to.
Yeah.
And now it's something crazy like 30 square feet that they have to have so they can move around and do all that. Well, now you've taken a pig farm or a pig, and now you're losing 3 stalls. So that's 3 less pigs that you would have had in there.
I mean, I'm not vegan or anything like that, and I'm not a member of PETA, but it's good for the animal.
It is good for the animal. They didn't move around, and especially if they're giving birth. They got
Yeah.
little babies there and whatever. So what that does is it cuts down on the amount of in the herd there, I guess, or whatever. But now they're producing less, and they've got to work twice as hard to get to that production level, and obviously that's going to draw the price of goods up.
Yeah.
Look at your bacon. Look at bacon right now. How much are you paying for bacon?
Yeah.
$9 for a 12-ounce package.
Right.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We were paying $3 or $4 like last year for it. It's doubled. It's
crazy.
And if you want something good, if you want a good quality bacon, you could pay $10, $11 for it. It's nuts. People don't think about that, but we, think about a diner that's got bacon on their plate.
Right.
Bacon's costing them over $1 to put on the plate for you, where it used to cost like 30 cents.
So, are you seeing more people move to? Well, I mean, what's the biggest? I mean, obviously chicken wings.
Yep.
Beef.
Yep.
obviously pork in some
Yep.
cases.
Yep.
All those prices are skyrocketing. Eggs have gone. Everything's
Eggs
gone
are
up.
gone up. Produce.
Everything's gone up.
Produce this year or in 21 we saw from the California season, they finished early because they were having some bad weather and things weren't coming in that great. Well, they finished early. Salinas is where they were. Now they come over to Yuma and that they weren't prepared. They were not ready yet. So there was a gap there of almost a month where there was short supply on certain produce. There was bad supply on produce. It was either rotting in the field because they didn't have workers to pull the stuff, or, it was just taking so long to get to the East Coast because of transportation issues and fuel costs and lack of drivers that, we saw prices go up because of that. There was a lot of produce that just wasn't great. We receiving it, not great.
Yeah.
And what do? That we've bought that. That hurts us.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Think about like Wegmans and these big produce companies and stuff. Think about all the produce that they bring in. What do they do with all that stuff that they can't sell?
Yeah.
That's a loss to them.
Yeah.
Can't send it back and be like, oh, I don't want it.
All right.
You bought that,
Yeah, the consumer can. Yeah, they can say, I'm not going to buy it.
That's it. So it doesn't hurt them as much.
Right.
But it hurts us, our company. The farther away it is, the harder it's going to get to get to us, obviously, and the more it's going to cost.
But maybe it should be like,
maybe get us more self-sufficient in what we have around here. Thank you.
I mean, I am, during the pandemic, I, fell into the trap like most people did to, make my own cheese or make my own butter.
Do you have a garden?
No, but
my garden was ridiculous.
I wanted to, and so I started making sourdough bread and making pizza at home, and I wanted to start getting into gardening, but our soil is never. We live in the city. We have a really big yard for the city.
Yeah, it's concrete soil.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
I bought an empty lot next to our house, and so I have this double, huge yard.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, I should grow something. And then I was like, oh, but I need to take care of the dirt first. So we bought chickens.
Okay.
We were raising backyard chickens.
There you go.
Illegally for a year. I got rid of them because
Really?
I had them in like they had their coop. They had a nice sized run.
Yep.
But I felt bad because every time I would open my back door to enter,
They were excited to see you.
they wanted to get let out.
Yeah.
And most of the time they were stuck in their little run.
Yeah, I couldn't go.
Yeah, so I
you
just
felt that they were cooped up.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I ended up giving away to a farmer who had land and wanted them.
Yeah.
So I got chickens. It was great. We had eggs. I had 6 eggs every single morning.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. 8 fewer eggs while we had the chickens than ever in my life.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, because you look at them, you're like, well, I don't know. It's too close to home at that point.
Yeah. I gave away so many freaking eggs.
Did you really?
So many eggs.
Oh,
I was working at Gerhar's at the time.
Oh, yeah.
So I just bring them in and dozens of eggs. Yeah.
Instead of coffee or donuts, you're bringing eggs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe it does need to get everything, and so maybe we shouldn't be getting tomatoes when it's winter.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Think of something else to do,
right.
or the hard root vegetables. I mean, growing up, we had a root cellar. We had my parents would, my dad would harvest potatoes and he'd store them down there. Beets, carrots, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
I haven't been in anybody's house that has had something like that in 30 years.
Yeah.
More. Why not? You're right. I had a massive garden. I gave a lot of stuff away.
Yeah.
It was fun though.
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, I grew up with a garden. My father always had one. I mean, my job was to weed, and I wouldn't do anything all day long. And then when I'd hear his truck coming down the road, I would run up to the garden and start weeding. Like I'd been there all day. Yeah, right. But at home, it would, I felt like I accomplished something.
Yeah.
It was mine. It was me. I had corn. I had potatoes. I had tomatoes, onions. I mean, you name it. I had a pumpkin patch that was just wildly growing wherever it wanted to go. I planted them too close together. I never pulled out what I should have, and it was a mess. But yeah, my wife was a little upset because I took over half of the backyard because of that, you know. But it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. I learned a lot. My kids helped out a lot. They had fun with it, and we got to reap the rewards from it. I mean, zucchini and squash and the corn.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the corn was so good. But yeah, it was fun. We need to do more of that.
Yeah.
We need to do more of that.
I want to say it's a issue of overpopulation, but from what I have heard recently, statistically, people are having fewer and fewer kids.
Oh, yeah.
And so really we're underpopulated
Yeah.
as a society, as a country.
We have an older generation.
Yeah.
And we haven't filled in with the
Right.
I mean those days of the families of 8 or 10 kids or whatever. I mean those are long gone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's I mean, maybe that's part of a small part. I mean, I think of like the Tailor and the Cook in Utica. I mean, it took Tim a long
But
time.
he's self-sufficient.
Right, exactly.
Self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Elderberry,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
self-sufficient.
Vic and at Madison Bistro in Wampsville. You know, I mean, he can, he's not only buying the cow, but then he's sending it to the,
Yep.
the slaughterhouse he wants it to go to. So it's
his.
you're right.
It's his. No, you're right. You're right about that. And is that the answer?
No, it's
No,
not. Because
no.
unfortunately, we're moving more and more.
We are.
Yeah.
We are. And I mean, the thing that gets me is that there's so much processed crap out there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just so easy for us to go into the store and pick up the box. And
Right.
just add water or
Yeah.
an egg and some oil, whatever the case may be, or even pull it out of the freezer and just put it in the pan.
Yeah.
But how many times do we actually look at the back of that package and see what's there?
Yeah.
What are we putting in ourselves, you know?
I forget who it was. They were saying like one of the ways this person had lost a shit ton of weight, and one of the ways they did is they said they could eat whatever they wanted as long as they made it.
Yeah, sure.
So they could have ice cream, but they had to make it.
They had to
could
make
have
it.
Pizza, but they had to make it.
It's putting in the effort.
Yeah. There was a client I had last year. I won't mention their name, but everybody will know exactly who it is. First ever ghost kitchen in Syracuse.
Okay.
Opened for 2 weeks and then shut down
Sure.
because of staffing
Yeah.
issues.
They had no staff.
Offered a chef in the area who we mentioned before we got started $25 an hour off the books, and he still said no.
So no. The writing's on the wall at that point.
Yeah. And so they had to shut down after 2 weeks, but they were selling out of food on their way there. Now, their distributor was U.S. Foods,
Okay.
and it was plug and play.
Yep.
They said, here's my concept, and U.S. Foods came to them with the menu and all the ingredients, and everything was pre-made.
Sure.
The burgers were pre-cooked. The buns, which were good, were, Kraft, hamburger
Okay.
buns. The only thing somebody had to do was fry it and assemble it.
Yeah.
And it
Takes
was
the fun out of it.
right. It does, but for the restaurant, for the owner,
It made sense.
yeah. I mean, you don't need a skilled staff.
Nope.
It was a ghost kitchen, so it was all delivery,
Mm-hmm.
and they did phenomenally with it. But for me, it was like really the first time seeing that, like behind the scenes of, what are you talking about? Everything's pre-made.
Yeah. We ordered from that ghost kitchen.
Yeah.
And I got to say, it was
good
really good.
for what it is. For
Yep.
what it was good.
We sat down with friends,
Yeah.
and I don't know how much it was because they had covered everything. It wasn't, I didn't even know that we were ordering from there.
Yeah.
And when we showed up at the house, and I think it was maybe myself and one or two of my kids, and then, him and his wife and his children there or whatever. I don't remember the exact gathering for what reason, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
With they had a salad. The salad was actually pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And the burgers, like you said, with the artisan roll there, they were
Right.
fancy.
Yeah.
That that's what, and we touched on it earlier, the uniqueness of stuff. I think we are stale here.
Yeah.
And people are trying. They really are trying.
Yeah.
If you really get down to the nitty-gritty of it and you know what's going on in the inner sanctums of this industry here in Syracuse, there are people that are trying to make it good.
Yeah.
You know, and they're trying to do things that either they saw somewhere else or even on their own or something nostalgic that they grew up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a couple of people that are doing that. And, you know, they're working their asses off.
For sure.
There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears being put out there, and people don't see that. They're blinded by it.
Yeah,
you
without
know?
a doubt.
Yep.
I mean, well, I actually got to run to the bathroom. Let's take a quick break.
Yeah, can we do that?
for sure.
All right, let's do it.
And then I got to. Yeah. So the one thing I will say about this on camera, and I'm going to clap
Yep.
so that way I remember.
We are on.
The one thing I will say is, and there was a story I was going to say right before I went to the bathroom, and I forgot what it was.
You left it in there.
Training in the majority of restaurants
Yep.
across every position
Yep.
is non-existent.
Non-existent.
When I was at Mad Burger,
Yep.
which, you know, Michelle, I helped with their brand development. Paul Valenti, good friend of mine, came up with the name Mad Burger. I wanted to call it Cheat Day Burger, and he was like Mad Burger, so we went with Mad
Okay.
Burger. I wanted it to be really special and unique, and you know, I won't mention the company that was selling food for your benefit, but that company, you know, was there, and yada yada yada. And I said, well, okay, before we open, we need to do a photo shoot with the burgers for marketing. And then we need to do a separate day of videos on how to make each item on the menu for training.
Yep.
And we did.
Yep.
We put them on YouTube. And the brasserie, you know, Michelle owned Mad Burger, she owns the brasserie. You know, she's really great about that. Even today, like we go in to do a new cocktail video.
Yep.
Hey, we need a graphic that says, here's the picture, here's the ingredients, and how to make it for the staff.
Yeah, no, that's how it should be.
95% of the restaurants in this town
Don't do that.
do not train the dishwasher, the server, the prep cook, the cook, nobody.
So this is great. I'm glad that we're talking about this. So I've been with JFS Curtze for 13 plus years, right? I think I'm going on my 14th year, I believe. And we are a family-owned company. We're not corporate. We keep that feel as much as possible. We are one of the only companies out there who haven't pushed our folks to go online because we still want that intimacy of listen, that 20 minutes or a half an hour or 45 minutes that I'm with a chef each week, sometimes that's his favorite time of the week.
Yeah.
Because he gets to decompress. He can talk shit about whatever he wants to talk shit about. He can cry on my shoulder. We can joke. We can laugh. We can talk about life. You know, yeah, we get down to business and everything, get the order in or whatever, but there's a piece of that time spent with them that they're away from all the bullshit in the kitchen, and they look forward to it. A lot of them do. A lot of them like to talk on the phone. Some guys don't want to be seen. I'll call you when I need you. Okay, great. I'm still coming in. I'm going to pay a visit. You know, that's the one thing that our bosses have instilled in us is they want us to see everybody each week. Even if you don't catch them on the day that they order, go in the next day. Maybe chef's home and he just puts his order in from home. Go. You got to get in there. You got to make a face. It's hard. I can't go out to eat at all these places because I have 3 kids at home. I have a wife at home, and it's difficult. We don't get date nights all the time, and it would be great if I could.
Right.
If I can catch lunch at a place that's open for lunch, customer of mine, awesome, great. But the key is you got to show your face. Now, in saying that, we as a company offer a lot of cool benefits to our customers, and one of them is wait staff training. But it goes farther than that. We have an awesome guy out of Rochester, Mark, who has been with the company forever, and it shows. But he is an amazing human being. He's cool as hell. He's like the cool dad, you know. And he does a lot of the training with the new sales reps and helps them work on the computer. And he knows products that we carry and everything. So he's great on that end. But think about it. Wait staff, even if they were being trained, How sick and tired do you think they are of hearing the same person blab the same thing into their ear? It goes in one ear and out the other.
Right.
Oh, I don't need this. I've been doing this for a long time. Whatever. Especially menu changes, stuff like that. Oh, we got this. And then they forget it when they go to the table,
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be. So what Mark does is he actually comes in, and sometimes it's on a Saturday. Sometimes it's during the week before dinner service, or maybe a day that they're closed. But what he does is he makes it fun and interesting. He tells you exactly what the owners have been telling you or the chef's been telling you, but he does it in such a way that it keeps you captivated. You know, he gets you excited about it. You know, he plays games with them. He, challenges them to try to upsell at the table and everything. And he makes a little contest for them. And he checks back in after like a couple of weeks just to see how things are going. He brings like little scratch off like lottery cards with him and stuff, $1, $2, whatever. He answers a question. He makes it fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So along with our service as sales reps, we also offer that. And you brought up a good point. Is like so many restaurants do not train their staff. And if they do, you're shadowing for a night or two and then you're off to the races.
Right.
How many times have you seen somebody come in and shadow that doesn't show up the next day?
Yeah.
Because they're either working with a miserable wait person,
Right.
or they just realize this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Because they got to put up with a lot of abuse.
Right.
I have a lot of respect for wait persons. When I go out to eat, I tip.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a good tip. And if you've given me good service, I'm taking care of you. I get yelled at sometimes because my wife, oh, you give too much. No.
Yeah.
This is my industry. I
Right.
know how hard these people work. Her right there, she's a single mom. She got a couple of kids. She needs this. This is what she's working for.
Yeah.
That guy right there, he's trying to pay for his college. He needs this money. You take care of him as much as you can. And you know what? I give them a lot of credit too, because they get kicked in the ass all evening long. People spit right back at them or say things and whatever, but they got to come back with a smile on their face.
Yeah.
Because like you said, they're working for that tip.
Yeah. Yeah, it's especially nowadays, the average consumer, I don't know how they are in person, but online, working for all these restaurants and seeing these fucking assholes online, it has gotten so fucking bad.
Trolling. It's social media kills it.
I mean, in one regard, a restaurant can be seen by so many more people today than they ever could have been prior to social media, but
It's also a downfall.
Yeah, I think it's the worst thing that's ever happened to us.
It is. I mean, it's so easy to go post something online, You could have a guy who feels like this guy over here is maybe stealing his ideas, or maybe he took his chef. Who knows? Well, he gets a couple of his staff to go online and post some things. That guy he's never even been in there to eat.
Right.
But now I come along and I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to go eat at this place.
Yeah.
Let's go check out the reviews.
Yeah.
Terrible service. I should have gone to blah, blah, blah. Well, wait a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how it is, though. Everybody just throwing each other under the bus.
Yeah.
For what? Yeah, there's some people out there that maybe aren't the best owners or the best guys to be in restaurants and stuff. Maybe they don't belong.
Right.
But you know what? They're doing it for a reason. And, whether you support them or not, I mean, it's just, it's tough. It's hard.
I mean, I've got my list. Most people that I know that are in the industry have their list of places they won't go to eat.
The shit list.
Yeah. I have, there's a big event coming up at a spot. I won't mention the name of them, but it's an opportunity for me to go get connected with 12 restaurant owners, be there, show face, be involved.
Yep.
And I was involved in it last year, and the owner is an asshole, and I was like, I'm not doing it.
Yep.
Exclude me from this one.
Yeah.
So we all have our lists, but
Sure.
Just the general public today, and those are places I just don't go to. I don't say anything about them.
Well, it's like judging the book by its cover. You've never even been there,
Right.
So where do you get off saying that place is going to be lousy? Try for yourself.
Yeah. So I don't know. Just so much has changed over the past couple years, but the training,
so much divide.
Yeah, I mean, I used to work for a corporate, business years ago, and as much as it sucked, the two things that they did really well is you went through a thorough training.
Sure.
So by the time that you were done after 2 weeks, you
You're
knew
proficient.
everything to
Yep.
do.
Yep.
And then they gave you a really clear path on how to get a raise and how to get a promotion.
Mm-hmm.
So there was never any question of what do I need to do to advance.
It's all been right there the whole time.
Right.
An employee handbook. Or,
Yeah.
You know, like for chefs, having a 3-ring binder with all the recipes in it and stuff.
Right.
There should be no reason that you're walking into a restaurant and having, you know, X, Y, and Z 1 week, and then 2 weeks later you go back and it's completely different. There's no reason for that.
Yeah.
There's got to be consistency. There's got to be, you know, somebody taking responsibility for that, you know, item going out to the customer. And to be honest with you, even somebody at the front of the line who's expediting, you know, needs to see that.
Yeah.
If it's not the same, send it back, have them fix it, do whatever. But
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't. You know why? Because there's a lack of employees, for one. You can't find the right help.
Yeah.
They're not qualified to work, or they're just not there, period.
I was talking to Lauren Markowitz, who was on the podcast last week from Amano.
Yep.
And, you know, her and Alex are from Philly, you know, Mark Vetri's restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
You know, one of the big things that I had asked her about of what's the difference between their, you know, Vetri in Philly and Syracuse is there's somebody always coming for your job.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a
Got to watch out.
Yeah. You know, no matter what the position is in a restaurant, there's always 4 or 5 people that are trying to get in there and get your position. You don't have that anywhere in Syracuse.
No, even the best places.
Yeah.
I get asked daily, do you know a good line cook? You know, chef, I need guys on dishwasher, whatever.
Yeah.
It's tough. GM, front of the house manager, whatever. I mean, it's a revolving door. We've had a lot of people leave this area in particular to go other places, and some have just left the business because they're sick of it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
they're sick of the bullshit. It's
crazy.
And it is. It's disheartening because, you know, we've always thought that restaurants are always going to be here. You always, because people need to eat, right?
Yeah.
People need to go out and not be stuck at home. People need to enjoy themselves. People need to be pampered. It's their responsibility as the restaurant to take care of that customer when they come in. They want them to have a fine dining experience or whatever experience it is. They want it to be fun. And that's the worst when you go in with bad service or lack of staff. You're waiting an hour for your appetizers to show up. I mean, you know, I remember a couple of years ago before COVID, we ate at a newer place, and it was my wife and another couple, and they had just recently opened up. They were a few weeks into it, and they were just swamped. I mean, absolutely freaking buried every goddamn night. We had gone there on a Saturday, I believe. We had gotten a reservation. We showed up. It took, you know, we got seated like 40 minutes after our res. And then when we did sit down, we had, you know, a round of beverages, and that took about 25 minutes to get to us. We were done with those. We should have ordered 2 of them right then and there. I think we were there for over 2 hours. I think we had 2 drinks in our meal. But then when our meal came, they wanted us out of there pretty quick. And again, it was disheartening.
Yeah.
It really was, because, you know, it was tough. It was real tough. And I could see it. I could see it. They had no staff.
The challenge that I'm seeing that, you know, I mean, we know the issues in food, and I don't even know, I can imagine the issues on your end of things.
It's tough.
I don't know what I mean, you know, if I had to guess at what the future of food is in America, I would say it's probably going to be, you know, the funny things of like the drone delivers pizza. I think that's probably where we're all heading, right? And then probably, you know, the massive cities still exist where it's like, hey, I'm going to go spend $500 or whatever.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
I think that stuff's going to be around in the long future.
Yep.
But in the near future, you know, the restaurant industry is making a big shift. And I don't know how some of these local places navigate it.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, you know, when we first had to go to takeout only, I mean, that was tough. I mean, a lot of people were like, screw this. I'm just going to close up shop. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Other people dove right into it.
Right.
We had some really good restaurants that were doing takeout, and they were doing more business takeout than they were doing regular times.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was That was crazy to see.
Yeah.
Because we had never seen, it was unprecedented, right? So now that they're doing this, they're still doing it, and they've got people seating in there too. Some people have adapted nicely. Some people weren't able to get the hang of things when the to-go happened. So when it came back to having people in the restaurant, they lost some customers.
Yeah.
You know, you go somewhere for a period of time, and that's your spot. You know, I like going there because that's my spot. I know the chef in there. That's my spot. I like what he does. Well, when shit hits the fan, and either that chef leaves, or you have a bad experience there, or they close down for a certain amount of time, even during now when if they go closed for 3 days and not even tell anybody, I'm going to find a new spot.
Yeah.
There's a big turnoff for that.
For
you
sure.
know? The loyalty to places, I think, has drifted off. There's still a lot of regulars.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you've seen the decline. You've seen the decline for sure. And as far as what the future holds, I think it's going to take us another 3 to 4 years to get out of this hole that we're in. And the biggest thing is we need to be, I don't know, we need to come together more, I think. There's so much divide out there, there's so much finger pointing, there's no accountability, I guess. And, a lot of owners in restaurants feel trapped. They feel trapped. They're like under the thumb because they can't do this, they can't do that, even though they want to.
Right.
And then they've got to worry about, the health department coming in, or agriculture or market, or whatever the case may be. They feel like somebody's always looking over their shoulder, or somebody's going to report them if they have a customer that doesn't have their mask on, or whatever. Some people don't even care. They're not even wearing them, But it's the nature of the beast, I guess. It's where we're at.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the future is. I have a feeling it probably should be moving a little bit more towards, fake meat.
Yeah, there's a lot of plant-based stuff out there.
Yeah,
there's companies that are sprouting up all over the place.
There are. We just don't have a lot of local adoption for it.
We don't.
I mean, some people are throwing like the Beyond Burger and saying, "Okay, we've ticked the box."
Yeah.
But, I mean, what happens if, beef and chicken prices continue to go through the roof?
People are going to have to reinvent themselves, the wheel pretty much. But like you said, that plant-based stuff is more costly than what our normal proteins are right now.
Is it really?
Go to the store and look at it. You can go there and get an Impossible Burger or a Beyond Burger or whatever. It's going to cost you like $9 for 4 of them.
Wow.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But think about what it took to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that these companies go so far to make this plant-based item to be all like holistic and whatever of the earth.
It's worse for the environment.
It's worse for the environment. And then they package it in something that's worse for the environment,
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
Yeah. I'm not against, animal products or anything like that. I mean,
there is some of that stuff that's good out there.
For sure.
Absolutely. You saw, what is it, Chipotle, they have the new plant-based chorizo.
Oh, yeah.
I'd give that a shot. What the heck?
It's more, which I know I eat it all the time, but it's like the factory farming and all that kind of stuff that's really, especially, as we think about, the issues of getting it and then affording it nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the future is going to be. I think, I had a Zoom call with this guy. He was a real estate broker and restaurant group something or other out of New York City. Mm-hmm. And early days of the pandemic, I had a Zoom call with him, and he was asking me about Syracuse and what it's like. And, he's like, well, what's the restaurant scene up there? And I told him, Syracuse is probably 5 or 6 years behind Buffalo.
Oh, 100%.
And Buffalo's probably 5 or 6 years behind New York City.
Oh, yeah.
If not more.
Yep.
So, things that are popular in other parts of the country aren't going to get to us for a while. But the difference is with social media today, especially with TikTok, that you see shit from all over the world in your algorithm, is that the consumers are seeing that stuff.
They are. There's ideas floating around. They're like, well, why can't I get that here?
Right.
Why aren't these guys doing it?
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because, during the pandemic when a lot of those New York City restaurants closed down, there were guys that came out of the woodwork
Yeah.
that were from locally that we didn't even know about, because when they left Syracuse, they were, going to culinary school. They just never came back.
Right.
Maybe for Christmas to visit mom and dad, but they weren't working here.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe the influx of chefs that came up here during the pandemic. Guys that I was personally working with, they're long gone now.
Yeah.
But, they ended up moving out west or going to another area, whatever the case may be. But they came from the city.
Yeah.
And there was, for a brief time, some talent here. And I don't think any of them stayed, to be honest with you. Maybe a small handful. But they're gone.
Yeah.
They're either back down there or whatever. But, the fact of the matter is like you said, we're so behind. And I think, I'm not saying that people are giving up, but I think that they're just, they're comfortable. It's not that they don't care. They're just comfortable and they want an easy ride,
Yeah.
And it's sad.
I feel like a lot of them are giving up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are. And
Yeah.
I don't necessarily, I'm not going to say that. I know guys that just, there's some that have been doing it for so long, they just don't want to do it anymore,
Right.
because this has reached like, whoa, what the hell?
Yeah.
But there's other guys that are like, man, I want to know what's going to happen. I want to keep going and see what happens a couple years. Who knows?
Yeah.
It might open a door for something. This guy moves out, opens a door for somebody else.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of fresh young blood coming through because there's nothing for them.
Right.
Again, we have this generational gap from the old guys, and then we have us right here, but there's nothing really younger than that. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I know that, come spring, things will feel a lot different.
Weather warms up. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
People will get out more,
Yep.
Yada, yada, yada. But, yeah.
New York right now, with the mask mandates that they have down there, has crippled the industry even more than it was before. I had a chef friend that was just down there over the weekend, and he said you could not walk into a store, a restaurant, anywhere. It didn't matter. You had to have a vaccine card and a mask. And at some places, they were asking for your ID.
Yeah.
They wanted to make sure it matched up with your vaccine card.
My brother and his wife and their
So it was
4
a pain
kids,
in the ass.
they went to New York City just before Christmas.
Yep.
Tried to go into a restaurant like Italy or something like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
And they were asking for Vax cards, which my brother had his, the Excelsior
Yeah.
pass,
Yep.
which whatever. But his kids didn't. And they were
wouldn't
like,
let him in.
yeah, they were like, no, your kids have to have them. He was like, they're kids. How old are they? Well, the youngest is 6. You got to have a pass.
Gotta have it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
It's nuts.
yeah, that is crazy. We just hired a content creator down there who she graduated from SU and she lives in the East Village or
Sure.
Queens or something. Yeah. I'm paying her to go make TikTok videos for restaurants for me down there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Just see what's going on in there. And
Yeah, because we
what's
don't
up.
have content. I'm here. I don't get out often enough. I went to Rochester a couple weeks ago and went to Pizza Wizard. Best pizza, one of the best pizzas I've had.
is it hard for you to get people in here to do this with the
podcast?
Yeah.
Not really. No.
Yeah. Are they knocking down the door?
No. I have to reach out to everybody.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 people over the years have reached out. I want to be on the podcast,
Yeah.
but up until I'd say recently, if somebody reached out to me, I'd be like, "Yeah, fuck you. You're not coming on."
Listen, this was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this thoroughly.
I was in Vegas and I reached out to. I was trying to get Roy Choi on the podcast, which I knew was never going to happen. And
Take
then
a hike, kid.
yeah, and then I got this guy Diego who owns a really busy, popular taco truck out
Oh
there.
yeah, you had mentioned
And
that.
really cool. He was super pumped about it. It was the first podcast he'd ever been on. And
Probably
then
made his day.
we did that in the morning, and then that afternoon, me and my brothers, it was 5 of us, went to his truck, and I placed my order, and she's like, I had my Eat Local hat on, and she was like, is your name Anthony? I was like, yeah. She's like, Diego called and told me I have to take care of you.
Oh,
like,
how nice is
We
that?
tipped her like $80.
Still.
But, to take care of her because, he had done that. But it's just different out there. Like,
More respect.
way more respect. Around here, like, not just for me, because I don't reach out to people to do, like, free stuff often. Like, hardly ever.
Sure.
But we go to Amano, and Alex sends out. I mean, we went for our Christmas party. There's 4 of us, you know, in the my wife and myself and Amanda who works for us and her, you know, boyfriend. And the 4 of us had like 10 drinks or beers or whatever. We each ordered an entree and an appetizer, and he sent out 8 entrees, 3 appetizers and dessert, and charged us like $200.
Oh, geez. For
You
all
know,
that.
and we always, you know, every time we go there, the waiter's getting $100
Sure,
no matter
you're
what.
taking care of them.
Right.
Yep.
But that's the only restaurant. Eden will do like something.
Yep.
You know, he'll usually send out like, "Hey, here's an extra appetizer or whatever." Other than that, people. I mean, a lot of people in this area don't even know who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
And not that they should.
You're a nobody.
Right. And not that they should,
But
they should.
what they should.
You know, I'm down in Beacon, and you know, they're just thrilled. They're like, "Thank you so much for doing this. This is amazing. I can't believe you're doing this for us." Up here, you know, here's something really sad. Restaurant. I don't know if you listen, so maybe I won't. I'll tell you his name off the air. Restaurant up north, up 81. Good restaurant, struggling like fuck. I heard that they were struggling. I reached out and said, "I'm going to do your social media for free for 2 months.
Pump some fuel into it. Yeah.
I'm not going to charge you a penny. I'm going to run everything like I charge the people $1,000 for. I'm going to do that for you for free. I'm even going to pay for your Facebook ads."
Said no.
Came back and said, "Well, what kind of content are you going to be doing?" I was like, "I'll do whatever you want, but I'll do what will work." No response. Nothing.
Handed on a silver platter.
This is someone who's about to fucking close.
Take what you can.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like,
You know what it is? People are stubborn. They're
yeah,
stubborn.
for
They're
sure.
set in their way. And here's the other thing. If this was an older guy, an older owner,
Right.
he's been doing this way too long.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants out. Maybe he's looking for that reason, you know, because he's sick of it.
Unfortunately, he's younger.
Oh, well, if that's the case, what are you doing, mister?
Yeah.
You know what? And here's the other thing. I will say this is that, you know, you have restaurants that know that clearly it's hard. It's a struggle out there, but they're doing different things to get people in the door. And
Right.
by you offering that, I mean, who wouldn't want to take you up on that? Just think, and I'll be honest with you, Anthony, I've heard of you. I knew of you. I've seen you around a couple of times. I never put any stock into the fact that you were doing this. So when you invited me on here and we had talked a little bit, I asked around. I talked to a few guys, and they all told me, "Shit, man, you got to do that."
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they were like, "Dude, you got to get on there." He goes, "I listened to him." He
Oh,
goes, I listened to all of his podcasts. He goes, "Guy's been doing it for a while."
Yeah.
And I felt like a jerk because I had never
Yeah.
listened. So what I did is I went back and I listened to a few shows,
Oh,
and I
cool.
thought it was cool. I thought it
Yeah.
was great, you know. More people need this would be great if this was live. This would be fun.
I've thought about doing it. We have, I mean, there's 1,000 things we could do to make this
I know,
better.
I know.
Ryan is,
Baby steps.
a big part of, making it better because he's way more talented than I am.
Sure.
We can go live. Yeah, I'm talking to him. We could go live today if we wanted
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
I've thought about it. I don't know. We're just, I'm trying to get outside of Syracuse now.
Sure.
We're doing this.
I see. Just by us talking tonight,
Yeah.
I realized that that's where you're headed.
There's just so much more money out
there
there.
is.
I
There
mean,
is.
and I think we're going to do it a couple different ways. We're doing new content. We're completely pivoting our website in a month.
That's cool.
And
You're reinventing yourself.
we're going to try and become more like Eater.
Yeah.
A lot more written content. I've just hired a bunch of fucking freelance writers.
Yeah.
We're starting to do new video series. I'm doing a chef's hometown. So I'm taking owners and chefs back to where they grew up.
Dude,
For it one day.
that's cool.
And they're going to take us to the restaurants they ate at or worked at.
That's awesome.
So a week from tomorrow, I'm going to New Haven to eat pizza with
In
Nick
Connecticut.
from Toss and Fire. Yeah.
Oh, dude, forget about it.
Right.
There's some of the best pies coming out of New
Yeah.
Haven. There's some good stuff down there.
Going to Philly with Kyle.
Nice.
Going to Philly with Alex and Lauren from Amano.
Yeah, that's great.
And then I got to find more people from there.
That is fun.
Yeah.
I wish I was from a different place. I'd take you.
Yeah. We flew to Chicago last month with Tim from Buried Acorn.
Really? Do you have a Chicago dog?
I hate to say that we didn't have a dog. So we flew in the whole we're doing this in 20 and not even we're doing this
Yeah.
in
Well, the
16
window.
hours.
Yeah.
We flew into Chicago at 11 a.m., got into the city at like 12, ate 3 different pizza places, 7 different pizzas, and then flew out at 7 p.m. that night to get
for
back.
you.
So it's a blast to
It
do
is.
it. But and we did that just to try the different styles of Chicago pizza. But
Summer of 2019.
uh,
I'm going to go back to this whole fish thing. I can't help but talk about it. We're on tour. We're down in Camden.
Yeah.
Okay. We're staying in Philly.
Yeah.
Staying in Philly. Camden's not the nicest area.
No, not
right?
at
So
all.
we're staying in Philly, and we were down there for a few nights to see the boys. And there was like 6 or 7 of us in a an Airbnb or whatever. And we're a couple of big guys, heavy eaters, whatever. We just like to be slobs once in a while. So we thought it would be a great idea to order as many different Philly cheesesteak sandwiches down there that we possibly could.
Yeah.
Some delivered, some we went and picked up. I think at the end of our trip, we had gone to like 16 different places. And I think on the average, we had ordered like 4 or 5 sandwiches from these places. My buddy Paul and I went to one place, and I think it was what was it, Steve's, the Princess Steaks. I think that was it. Yeah. So we had walked in there. They sent us out with a box. I mean, it was a box. We had like 11 sandwiches in there. So we had them for breakfast. We had them for lunch. We were only there for a few days. Believe you me, we sucked down a lot of cheesesteak. But it was fun. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
right.
We had done something we have never done before. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it was a blast to do it. I mean, we were at Peace Brewery and Pizza in Chicago, really well-known brewery out there.
Yep.
And, they do New Haven style.
That's cool.
The owner flies the staff to New Haven like every couple years.
Nice.
But they did their clam and bacon pizza, except it comes with lemon wedges and Tabasco sauce
I love it.
that you put on the slice. It's fucking amazing.
I bet.
Yeah.
See, that's cool. That's different.
Right.
Why can't somebody do something like that here?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I've been talking, and so I'm going Tuesday with Nick. I'm sure we'll talk about. I told him about that, but yeah, I've been on this toss and fire kick. I'm trying to eat every Detroit style deep dish
That he's got.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
and
They're right over in Township, right?
yeah, they're in North
Township, right?
Syracuse. I've got like $500 in gift cards there, so
Nice.
it's been nice. But
Nice.
yeah, well, thanks, man, for coming on the podcast.
Anthony, I will do this anytime
Yeah.
you want me to, you know?
Restaurant owners that are listening, how can they get in contact with you?
You can reach me at my email address, cbrown@jfsfoods.com. My phone number is bleep. No, but I mean, reach out. If you want to
Yeah.
email me, whatever, I'm here. I like to have fun.
Yeah,
People that work with me know that, and I know when to take it serious, but at the same time, it's got to be fun.
right.
Listen, I put my pants on one leg at a time. I know you jump into your pants, but most people, that's what they do, and there's no reason for us to, be at each other's throats or talk shit or,
Right.
I'm better than this guy or I'm better than that guy. I mean, listen, we're all doing it for the common good. We got to
Yeah.
survive, right?
Sure.
I think that people just need to get reinvigorated and step it up. And this freaking weather's got to stop.
Right,
I
yeah.
mean, again, we're in Syracuse. We live
Yeah.
here for a reason. We can't get out. But yeah, we need new fresh blood.
Yeah, for sure.
We need some excitement. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's all I got, my friend. And again, it was a pleasure. This is great.
Yeah. Well, thanks,
I like
man.
this. Yeah. Yeah.